Morning, Canada. That's right, because we do cross the country with our show. We have Women Talk right across Canada. My name is Bridget Lessard-Deyell, and I am the founder of Women Talk and your host of the Rise and Grind show. Geez, I almost forgot the name. You know why I almost forgot the name? It is June 7th in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This morning was 3. That's right. 3 degrees. Come on, people. It's summertime. We're not supposed to be freezing. My kids were not happy. They were actually quite annoyed. I had to drive them to the bus. They were not going to walk in that crap. So it was quite funny. But you know what? We're Canadians. That's just how it goes. So we have so much going on at Women Talk. It is crazy. So let's bring up with me in the show the wonderful, incredible new CEO Square. That's right. That's what we call ourselves, CEO Squares, because there's 2 of us. Nancy Seeger. Good morning, Nancy.
It's not CEO Squares, it's CEO Squared.
Oh, I just call it square. When you're French, you like take off the D's or add the D's. That's just how we do it. Or S's, D's, S's, and H's.
You just make up your own words whenever you want. That's the truth of it.
Exactly. Well, why not? I usually get my point across, though. Body language. Oh, look at that. Great segue. That's what we'll be talking about today. And yeah, we'll get back to this. Before we get talking with our guests, I wanted to talk about all the incredible things going on with Women Talk. And let's start with all the events we got going on this week. We have 4 events, Nancy.
Woo!
Which one you going to? Are you going to make any this week? So we have Ottawa. I don't think you're making that one.
No, I'm not going to make Ottawa.
We have Kelowna. I'll be at that.
You'll be at Kelowna.
I'll be at Kelowna. Then we have Cochrane.
Yep. Trying to go to Cochrane.
Woohoo. And then we have Langdon.
And Langdon. They're on my list for next week.
That is one busy week.
Yep.
So how's your life? Like you've started traveling with me. And thank God your husband came with us to Edmonton. It was like so nice to have him drive us.
Oh, he's so patient and so amazing. I'm so blessed to have him in my life because he does that. He's there. He just shows up and supports. And when I bought into Women Talk, like you and I both know, he's in for the ride. He's signed up and there he is. And he's super supportive. He's out playing hockey this morning, but oh my God, it was so great to have him drive us. And of course, he's so flexible. He's one of those guys that can sleep anywhere, do anything. So he comes home, hits the bed, out, done. Gets up in the morning.
Those people piss me off. But you know what? I just wanted to mention quickly, we are Women Talk, so it's all about women. And you know that saying, what is it? Behind every great man is a great woman or whatever. Well, I'm really seeing a lot of really amazing men behind our women.
Oh, totally. Totally.
You know, so supportive. So, I'm here to help, to serve. Like I even have Michelle Post. I think Michelle is on right now. Her husband too. Like he's dragging all my stuff to the car last night and he goes, I have the gift of service. When it's the right people and especially for my wife, I just love helping.
Exactly. And I think often as women, and Michelle brought this up in our conversation when she was with us in Edmonton there, is that often we don't let them help us as much as what we should. We think it's something related to,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not in that business, but like for Andy and I, we actually got to know each other by working together and we've been together since 1981. So
wow,
a long time.
That is a very long time. And how's your communication? Do you guys is it easy to speak? Like, are you similar styles or
not at all? Not at all. Not at all. We are worlds apart in how we communicate and what we communicate and how we process thoughts. And so I know Andrea is going to share a lot of tips that are helpful. And Eileen has shared great tips before that I listen to, but it is about, you get to know and and move through the communication differently. Like I'm very strong, assertive, quick thinking. This is what it is. This is the way I see it. This is, and as Brene Brown says, this is the story I'm hearing right now. This is what I'm seeing. And he's like, yeah. But then he goes away and processes it for a day or two. And then the conversation might come back and might not. He won't start the conversation, but he might process it. It might come back, or we have to revisit it later. He's just very unique style. The one thing I will say about Andy is he stands in his own. So early on, because I'm a powerful personality, a lot of people thought I dominated Andy, and it's so much not true. Like, he is not afraid to stand in his own and own his own shit and be there and say, no, that just doesn't work for me. Right?
Yeah.
Which is so powerful and so important in a relationship.
All right, I had to take my glasses off. Like, this is like my computer's at this really bad spot, like with my glasses or without, so I have to like get up. It's crazy. All right, so let's bring our guest on because I'm super excited. She is fabulous. She is a master of communication, and I adore her. And she just became a Women Talk member. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Andrea. Woo-hoo!
Hi, thank you guys for having me here today.
Hello, Andrea. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
So tell us about you. What do you do? Who are you? What makes you so great?
Well, I specialize in communication. It's been my wheelhouse for a long time, and everything that I've done, whether it's been marketing or writer, producer, director in television, it's all about how we communicate. And of course, all of us, we have our special, unique gifts, and we have visions for what we want to have in our lives and how we want to, execute on our own purpose. But that all requires really great communication in order to be able to do it. So I've been fascinated by what makes people tick since I was little. Like, I remember asking my mom, at 2 and 3 years old, why do people do that? Why did they say that? Why did that person do that? And I've been curious forever. And I'm sure it was compounded by being an Army brat and being the new kid in school all the time and having to figure out how to fit in and kind of watching like dynamics between people and, what cues that they're giving. And I think I started to naturally become sensitive to it, but that definitely led me down the road of studying more and more and more about why we do what we do, why people do those things.
So how do you help people?
I help them by helping them understand other people, right? And so when we start to understand other people, we actually start to understand more about ourselves as well. But it's really coming to figure out what's going on with that person on the other side of the table. Like, we're all super unique. We all have different DNA. Our brains are all wired differently, and we have different sets of experiences. Even identical twins don't have the same perspectives on everything, right? Because the brains are wired differently and they've had different experiences through their lives. And so because of that, we all have different ways that we communicate, or different filters or things that are important to us that we place focus on, or those, stories that are running in your head about what that other person is thinking, which are usually nowhere near the truth.
I know.
In my experience. Anyway.
You put your own story to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do all the time.
Yeah, actually, we were just sharing at the before we were live here how, I wasn't paying attention and I missed the green light and the guy honked at me. And, I was just like, I truly was feeling bad because I wasn't paying attention. So I'm sorry, kind of lifting my hand. And the guy was so mad and he's giving me the finger. And I'm like, dude, I was apologizing. But to him, my body language meant whatever the meaning he put. So like, you don't have to even use words. Sometimes your body language can betray what you're wanting to say, doesn't it?
That's happening all the time. So if you take a look at the studies, it's anywhere between 50 and 80% of our communication is actually nonverbal. And so that's pretty extreme. So what happens is our limbic system is running all the time in the background, and every emotion that we have is shown somewhere in our body. So yeah. So it comes out whether we know it or not, and that guy, though, we all have different space bubbles. And so our space bubble typically, when we're talking with somebody, is somewhere between 18 inches and about 3 feet. I can't do the metric conversion on that. So, like what, a half a meter to a meter, maybe.
18 inches. 18 inches is probably, well, I guess it's close to half a meter.
Exactly. So anyway, somewhere around there. But when we're in a vehicle, that bubble becomes really big. So it goes out about 25 feet, which is why we get super mad when somebody cuts us off in traffic, but we're less likely to get mad if somebody walked in front of us in the mall, let's say. So yeah.
So why does it annoy some people when somebody is talking to you and they get like really close to you? Because there's like the close talkers, right? Why does that annoy us?
Well, it's the space bubble. So we all have a different space bubble. And what's really interesting is people who, depending on the culture, will talk closer or will touch each other when they talk. Certainly people who are kinesthetic do that. But people who live in cities, because we have closer proximity to each other, actually are okay with people getting closer to them for the most part. Everybody is a little different. Like my husband grew up in the city, but he has a really big space bubble. Like his is definitely closer to the 3 feet area with his space bubble. But people who grow up in the country and they actually have a lot of space around them don't like people encroaching that space. So we all have a natural space bubble that we're comfortable in. The best way to gauge that with somebody is, like, after you shake your hand, is to step back slightly and allow them to close the gap. And they'll close the gap to the distance that they're comfortable with. Yeah. So just take a little step back and they'll adjust.
One thing is for sure, people in Hong Kong like to be really, 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 really close.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Because the population is so humongous. They're used to this. We as Canadians, it's hard when you're there.
Yeah, we have a lot of space, right? And so it really makes sense when you think about that, because they're used to people being much more close to us. And for us, it sets off your radar, right? Now it's like a danger radar if somebody's getting too close to you. They're just used to it. So
that's an interesting thing, Andrea. Do you study different cultures and do you coach people and work with them on how to go into different cultures and interpret body language?
So I've done like a very, very small bit, very little. It's definitely not my forte. I'm definitely more of who's the person in front of you right now and what's happening with there. But I would suggest, though, if you do go to a different culture, like do the research on that. What are the expected cultural norms? Like even in China, how you present your business card, right, can make a huge difference, or whether or not you take shoes off. Like there's so many different things. So make sure you do the research is what I'm going to say to that.
Yeah, I like that. Now, if you were to give us one great hint when we're on stage behind the mic, a do and a don't.
Okay. A definite don't put your hands in your pockets.
Ooh,
and same thing if you're networking, if you're meeting somebody the first time, don't put your hands in your pockets. And the reason is our hands, when you think about it, like our hands can attack, right? So if you cannot see somebody's hands, they could be taking something out, like, you know, a knife or something dangerous that could attack us. So even though it's unlikely, our brain is negatively wired for the most part, and the amygdala will go off. So it will put you on alert. And the reality is you have a tenth of a second for somebody to decide whether or not you scare them or not. And we only have about 4 to 10 seconds to make a great first impression. So having your hands in your pockets immediately puts their brain on alert that something could go wrong. A definite do is having your hands, and I'm not sitting up high enough, but having your hands out and talking within your upper waist level to about your chest level. That's actually like your truth zone or the heart zone. And that's where you're most truthful. And just one further thing, the more you talk with your hands, the more people actually like it. Our brains give 12.5 times more weight to hand gestures than other gestures.
Wow.
And this woman, Vanessa Van Edwards, she studied TED Talks to see which TED Talks are the most viral. And the ones that are most viral, or the ones that the people like the most, those people within that 18 minutes used over 400 hand gestures. And the ones who are least liked use under 200. So when we talk with our hands, it actually creates more attention, and it actually stimulates our memory. So you'll be remembered better when you talk with your hands.
And obviously, you can tie that into how we tell our stories.
Yes. So you want to, punctuate. If you have I have three things I'm going to tell you, right? Just you want to punctuate or move from one side to the other, especially if you're giving choices. So, here. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your programs and what you offer people.
Yeah, so right now I have just developed, this is a free online course that I'm going to be launching within the next little bit. I'm just doing a little beta testing. It's called Authentically Boost Your Charisma. And it's the ABCs of being memorable from the very first meeting. And so just a few of the things that I shared with you are what I'm going to be covering in that. It's about an hour long. So we really get into some of the science stuff that's behind it, into making a great first impression, how you can be memorable and more likable from that. And then from there, the next course that I'm currently in development with is how to read people. So that person on the other side of the table, what are you looking for with their body language, and how do you actually effectively build rapport with them and understand what's important to them? So that's the only way that you're going to make a great connection, right? Is to be more empathetic towards people, which is why the best leaders are really empathetic leaders, is because they can understand where their people are coming from. And the worst ones are not, right? They don't care. They'll walk over people. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's one of the secrets of Women Talk, right? Because it's all about you. Like it's your story, what you've been through and what you can teach us. And that's why Women Talk is successful.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing with that is showing, like, we all love Brene Brown, right? And so that vulnerability side, but it's the real sharing. And when you sit down and actually share on a deeper level with people, and you engage in that and you have similar stories, the chemical releases that happen in your brain actually help to build social bonding. And that's one of the reasons as well, when we're being that real and that authentic, that shows that person, they don't have a self-centered motive, they're being altruistic, and so we're more likely to trust that person, right? And if somebody is showing self-centered motives, like we've all been to that networking group where somebody comes up to you and they're trying to sell you their stuff, like right from the get-go. Hi, like, buy my stuff right now.
My name is Bridget, will you marry me?
Exactly.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves. People don't understand. Seriously.
Yeah.
They come to Women Talk, they have a great opportunity to get people to like them, love them, and they start selling.
Yeah. And the reason that it affects us so strongly is because it makes us wary right away. So if this person is self-motivated or self-centered, it means that they're going to be putting their interests over mine. And so that means now I have to be wary about my resources, if you will, on a greater level. And so what that does is it immediately affects your amygdala. And in that center, that's where distrust is formed. But trust is built in the prefrontal cortex. And so when we share our stories, we're thinking about it, we're using that part of the brain, and that's how trust is built, which is why Women Talk is built on such a strong foundation for that immediately. So you're meeting these people for the first time and they're sharing stuff intimately, and that's building that trust level right from the get-go.
Boom.
Yeah.
Just like that. So I'm curious. I wanted to ask you, why did you join the Women Talk membership?
Oh, okay. So both of you, and I'm sure some of the other people do, I had the chance to meet Bridget when Bridget was first starting Women Talk, but she had been doing the big show for a while. So it was once a year on stage. And then she was talking to me about taking this to a different level and making it more of a community. And I loved the idea of it. So I was on board from the get-go. So right when we first started,
one of my first, baby.
Yeah. I was converted right from the get-go. And unfortunately, I had to step away a little bit. I had some stuff that went on at home with my husband, who had a TIA, and which is like a mini stroke. And so I needed to really focus at home. And then after 3 years, and we're still going through a lot of this stuff now, after 3 years, I just really realized I need to have people around me that I need a tribe. Yeah, I need a tribe. And as you guys also know, I've always been a guy girl, right? Like I've, the sporty girl. But as I've gotten older, I've come to recognize how important it is to have those strong female relationships in my life. And that's something that over the last, I don't know, probably 6 months for sure, specifically, that I thought, you know what, I need to develop this. I need to learn more about me with other women and building that tribe and that community, because the bottom line is our happiness is based on the strength of the relationships that we have. And that has to be more than one person, and it has to be more than just your family. And the cool thing about Women Talk is it offers a tribe of people like who get you, and it's welcoming, and you can be you. Like I feel like it's really non-judgmental, right? It's just this beautiful group of ladies who are super accepting, and all walks of life and all sorts of different experiences. And so it's fascinating for a people person, like learning all these different stories. It's absolutely fascinating too. So
I
those are
love
just
that.
some of it. Yeah.
I knew I was asking you that question for a reason, because I've never thought of it that way. I need a tribe to get to know me better, like a tribe of women to get to know myself better. I never thought of that. See, I knew, like, you're brilliant.
Thank you.
Right, Nancy? Isn't that a cool statement?
Yep, totally. But you knew Andrea would give you a few gems in here.
Yeah, because she's brilliant. So if people want to know more about you or sign up, like, do you have a sign up or something so that you can let people know when your free course is going to come out?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be launching that within the next little bit on Eventbrite, but please come on over to IamAndreaJones.com. If you go to the Path to Happiness link, there you can actually sign up to get Silence Your Inner Critic. It's a free video that's about just about an hour-long training on how you can start to control those voices in your head a little bit more, and sign up for my newsletter. Yeah, you'll get some really cool tips there, and some ways to start connecting with other people, and of course the communication tips that I share. I'm also on Facebook too at Step Into Your Power, and every week I also do some trainings there on communication and how we can communicate better with the people in our lives.
Very cool. Nancy, are you putting that in comments below?
I'm writing it all down so I can put it in the comments.
Wonderful. And actually, Andrea, you can go down in the comments and give everybody great links, that the best way to reach you. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for being a member, because now you're going to do the circuit and share all the amazing stories you have to share, because you really have some great, great stories and great knowledge. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. I'm super excited to, be back full force. Woohoo!
Now, hey, before we go, we are starting to roll out in full gear. Hold on, I'm like clicking the wrong things here. I'm not sure what's happening. It's like something's going. Okay. Oh, there we go. I think the internet is a little bit slow. So we have our convention coming up this fall. Yeah, see, that's the wrong one. That's not the one I clicked. There we go. We have our convention coming up in the fall. The link, I'll put the link in the comments here, but we are looking for speakers. If you want to speak in front of a very large crowd and have an incredible weekend. Like, come on, we have a white party. Then we have a disco party the Saturday night. We're going to have something like 15 to 17 speakers. Of course, we have the opening and the closing ceremony, which is absolutely wild and over the top. Right, Nancy?
Oh, always.
How did you enjoy last year?
Oh, well, I shared this story recently, but, Bridget and I have also known each other for years, and it was actually Andrea that introduced or reintroduced us. But, that really, I came on as a partner with Bridget right before the conference, and that was the biggest thing that showed me the potential of Women Talk and what it can do and what a tribe is and how to get involved in the emotion. I don't remember laughing and crying so much, so often within a compacted 3 days ever in my life as I did at the last year's conference. It was just amazing.
I know we really have fun. And of course, my lovely wife, Lessard-Deyell, who's an amazing MC and always just ties everything together and is a total goofball up there sometimes. Oh, my
She's
favorite
so
part.
funny.
Oh, do you remember last year when they read these?
Oh, that book. The book
novel.
They were reading this erotic novel. Oh my God, it was so hilarious. Her and Yvonne Bastian, they sat there reading back and forth to each other, and Yvonne was holding it together, but poor Sue was just dying. It was hilarious.
Oh, and like God. That novel gets down and dirty, baby. The stuff they had to read. They came to me, right? They go, this was kind of like right out. They didn't know what they were going to read. Like we came up with that idea. And so they kind of read what they would have to read on stage. You're like, we can't say that in front of all these people.
Oh, but there was so much more between the belly dancing and the drum circle. And like, there was just so much, like as a woman, you know, and I mean, I'm a little bit older than a few of you, but the reality is that we don't know the depths of emotions we're carrying in our body until you have an outlet to release it, until you have a safe place to share your story and grow, like you say, get to know yourself a little bit more personally. And oh my Lord, it solidified some of my best friends. It's made everything so different. My last year has been incredible because of that experience.
Oh, and Joanne Neweduk saying like how much fun she had. Well, if you watch our promo video, Joanne is actually going to the stage to pick up her bra off the microphone.
Yeah, not to take her bra off, to take it off the microphone from the party the night before.
This has happened 2 years in a row now. Lorna Seelig started this, and it's become a thing. We don't burn our bras because they're too expensive to burn now, but we hang them on the microphone. So, Andrea, I hope you can join us in Canmore October 4, 5, and 6. If any of you would like to come as a speaker, as a talker at our convention, go to womentalk.ca/convention. I have the wrong thing going across there. I don't know why it's doing this, but thank you for joining us, Andrea.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun. Of course.
Oh, yeah. and if you guys want to find out more about Andrea, just look down below. You'll see the link way below here. And we will see you. Thank you, Nancy, for co-hosting with me. And we will see you next Friday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Until then, keep talking.